doing, Abigail?
I am looking for some bad beans and seeing if they're bad because we're making something.
What are we going to make?
I don't know.
We're going to make some beans with taco flavoring tomorrow.
Beans,
yeah.
Taco beans. Oh, what's that one?
That's the black one.
Is it a black one or is it a rock?
Oh, that's a dirty one, so put it to the side and we'll throw it away.
Sometimes they're rocks, huh?
Dirty.
Dirty. Here's a dirty one. Careful, the toaster's a little wet.
Here's a really dirty one.
Okay, throw it away. And look through. You can stand up. You don't.
I know.
These are just for our family here, people.
So you're doing beans, huh? Hey, what do you think about that bean boy?
Are you bean boy? Like, I don't want to be in the video.
Bean boy?
Hello.
Hi, bean boy.
I like beans.
I like beans too. You like beans?
Yeah.
Oh,
Like
for
beans.
people watching this video,
Beans, yeah.
I'm going to be totally open and honest. I forgot to add into our budget chocolate chips because every night Josiah has to take a chocolate chip after he takes his medicine to get the bad taste out of his mouth. So 7 chocolate chips for the week for this little guy were not added into the budget. Plus, something that was already budgeted for before this week happened is, as a family, we take vitamins if we've been exposed to illness or sickness. Those 2 words together. But we today took vitamin C and vitamin D in small glasses of apple juice. That's how we have the kids take it. And so that is something that was already in our plans for if we were exposed to sickness. We went to church on Sunday. People are sick. So that was another thing that wasn't in the $75 budget. It was small, but I wanted to be totally open and honest with everybody. So that's all for tonight.
Welcome to Herding Little Cows. Today we are making pancakes.
Okay, so we are using the recipe from the Betty Crocker cookbook for pancakes, and the only variation we're doing is we are adding water instead of milk. So he is going to be doing the cooking. This is not as real life as what we would normally do, because normally I would make them do some math and figure out, oh, we're making 4 batches, how many do you add? I'm just going to tell them what to put in. So we have 4 eggs in the bowl. We need 3 cups of water. It's 3/4 cups per recipe. Right there. Good job. Now we're going to need 8 tablespoons of oil. So you're going to hold this and I'm going to pour the oil. We are making 4 recipes of pancakes. We are a big family. We eat a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That was very amusing, I guess. Okay, now we need. Huh?
You're in the video. You're standing there. I see you.
Sorry, Daddy had to walk past you. I forgot another tablespoon. Save it. You can start mixing that. Everybody's taking their turns, so I'll
I was studying better noise.
Yeah.
Because there's a late afternoon came out before Matthew's daddy brought it. Like, Josiah, quiet.
So prep work that was done yesterday for the meals today is last night Abigail sorted through the beans, put them in the crock pot to soak. This morning I put hot water on top, just covering the beans, and then I also did a kettle full of hot water, boiling water, into it. That's what I do when I get them on a little late. So those are now on high, and that's for lunch. Virginia also mixed up 4 loaves of bread last night, going by the low yeast recipe we had used the night before. So that would be 2 teaspoons of yeast for the 4 loaves of bread. And it has risen, and we will show you that in a little bit. Okay, scooch over for a second. Okay, we need 4 tablespoons of sugar. What? Well, not everybody can be standing under my feet. Can you scooch over for a second?
1 table.
That way. Scooch that way. Okay, you scooch right there. Okay. cookie jar. So 4 tablespoons of sugar. Hello. 1. Everyone can count.
Yeah.
2. 3.
Last one.
It kind of looks like Samuel's uncomfortable in the kitchen. He loves to be in the kitchen, but he has a form of essential tremors that he's always shaking like this. So that's not a nervousness or anything from being on the camera. That is how we roll around here. So you need 4 cups of flour.
Yeah.
I know this is not the proper way to measure flour. This is the way that we measure flour in our house because we're a busy household trying to get things done. That's good.
Yeah.
Dump some out then. Normally you would use a knife to level it all off and you would be splitting it into the cup. This recipe, it's not that important, the exact measurements. Most recipes I make are not important as exact measurements. Kind of like our clothing. It's not important how to do our clothing. We don't do a lot of ironing or dry cleaning or anything like that. If it can go in the washing machine, we use it. If it doesn't, then we don't. And that's how we make our recipes too. If it needs very precise measurements, probably not happening around here. I just don't have. Just being real with you guys. Good. 4. Okay, so now we're gonna do our baking powder. And you want to put it right on top of here. We're gonna mix it in a little bit before we do it. 4 tablespoons of baking powder. There you go. Could you bring me a knife? Not a knife, a fork. Because I was leveling it out so it would fall in there. Because if, right on top, yep. If the baking powder goes immediately into the liquid, Josiah, we want it to be on top of the flour. Because if it goes immediately into the liquid, we can get little clumps of baking powder and it makes it taste kind of salty, acidic, is that the word? I don't know, makes it taste funny. So we're trying to mix it up before we put it in there.
Oh, okay. 4.
We also need 4 spoons of salt.
Like 4.
Nope, 4 of these of salt. That would be a lot of salt if we did that. We'd have some salty pancakes.
Even Daddy likes salty pancakes.
What?
What?
If we put that much salt in. So we need 4 of those and try not to get clumps. And put it right on top.
Can you count?
1, 4. 2. You're not gonna yell about it. The salt doesn't care if you count it. 3.
Only 1 more. 4.
Okay, so I'm gonna stir just
like a little
this little. No. I'm gonna stir this little part just to get this mixed in a little bit with the flour, so we don't get clumps of salt and clumps of baking powder in our stuff. Okay, Samuel, you can use the big fork and you can mix it up the rest of the way. And then we're gonna mix these. We put the vegetable oil in already. So did we add the eggs?
Yes.
The flour?
Yes.
The water?
Yes.
The sugar?
Yes.
The oil?
Yes.
The baking powder?
Yes.
The salt?
Yes.
Okay. So now we're gonna mix these up and we're gonna cook them like regular pancakes and we'll show you what breakfast will look like. Start mixing. Mix. Josiah. Sorry, getting up hands over here. That's what you're hearing. Because this is the low spend week, and we did not put syrup or anything like that into the grocery budget, we are doing these topped with butter and cinnamon sugar. So,
Yum.
okay, let me see if it's all mixed up. Very good job. Okay, so now we're going to put away our ingredients and cook these, and we'll see you back in a little bit.
Okay.
So how we're doing the pancakes is, as I take them off, I put them on a plate. I take the butter stick and rub it on top, and then we're adding some cinnamon sugar. Waiting for the camera. That one got a little burnt, but they're not all that burnt. But that's what we're doing for them. Okay, so in the midst of all of this, I was doing a grocery list. I wrote down what we paid for each item and then broke it down into flour costs this much cents a cup, those types of things. Why we are doing this challenge is to show how you would be able to stock a pantry if you had nothing except for salt and pepper, but it is not the best way to shop. We were calculating these figures, and I figured out that for the just over 6 teaspoons of yeast that I bought in the 3 little packets, it cost 29 cents per teaspoon to make my bread. When I buy it at Sam's Club, I buy 2 pounds of yeast for $4.49, and I spend less than 2 cents a teaspoon. So while this challenge is interesting to see that I could do it for $75, in some things I am paying more money than I would if I did it by stocking up. So if you do not have a pantry, this is a good challenge to do for 1 week, and whatever money you save, use it to stock your pantry, because it would cost you $5 to buy enough bread to make 320 loaves. No, how we've made the bread, you'd be able to make 640 loaves of the bread that I made at 1 cent a piece for yeast instead of 29 cents for yeast. So that was just a quick thought of the day. I'll be pricing out all the menus that I'm making over this week. So come back and join us. Okay, so we made some bread last night. Virginia put together the bread. That's the low yeast bread. It has 1 teaspoon of yeast for every 2 loaves. So if you just saw the video about how expensive yeast can be, I'm going to give some tips at the end of the week of how I would use my money more efficiently if I did this challenge a second week and was using the other funds to bulk up my pantry. So one of those would be buying yeast in bulk. But what we're having for lunch is behind me. I have rice going on the stove like I've told you I do before. I put in 8 cups of water to 4 cups of rice, and I get it back to a boil, and then I let it just sit on a turned off the burner that it was on, so that burner's still hot, but turn it off and just let it sit for about 25 minutes. So these beans were soaking last night. I'm draining the rest of the water off them. They had soaked. I drained the water off, added new water, and then these cooked all morning on high. I'm going to mash them just with my potato masher. We're going to make these the consistency of rough refried beans. You can put them through a blender if you want them to be smooth like refried beans you buy in a can. And if I was doing this not on the challenge, I would add a lot more flavorings, like some oregano really brings out the taste of the cumin and stuff like that. But because of the challenge, we are going to do cumin in them, and I'll let people salt and pepper them to taste at the table. So if you can see the consistency of these, my family likes them a little rougher than just the smooth refried beans. You actually feel like you're eating something. And we're going to add cumin to them. It's a new bottle, so it's really full. It doesn't want to come out very well. So come out, little cumin, come out. So thank you for joining me in this challenge. Remember, when you're watching this, you are watching a real life kitchen. So you're seeing all the mishaps while I cook. I'm going to get a fork to do this. You're seeing all the mishaps while I cook. You're seeing my kitchen as it is on a normal basis. So you will see dirty dishes. You will see the pots and pans left around, the dish rags, all of that stuff. So just know that I'm not trying to perfect these videos for you. So that's what I did, is I added some cumin, and now we're going to put it on rice for lunchtime. So we're just serving a plate with rice on it and beans. This is our lunch. Want me to finish? The last ones?
Good.
Choppity chop chop.
Look at us, trying to want nothing. Oh, that onion is getting me even though I didn't cut it. And then me and Virginia just cut up vegetables to put in it. So we cut up carrots and celery. And some onion. Which made me cry.
Bunch of crybabies.
So then that will cook, and that's our supper tonight, along with some bread.
Woohoo! Hey,
So
everybody.
here's our soup tonight. Oh, Grumpy baby, you can take them out. Here's our soup tonight. We've got bread and we've got soup with the carrots and onions and stuff you saw cut up before. And even though it might not look like a ton of food, the kids are excited because we're having peanut butter toast for snack after we have supper tonight for bed. So, see you later. So today we did pancakes with butter and cinnamon sugar on top. For lunch we had beans with cumin and rice. That was not a fan favorite. So we're going to be trading out the week's beans that we were going to do that with more Brazilian beans, which the family really, really liked. For lunch for snack, we had 4 apples cut up and shared half a loaf of bread that we put cinnamon sugar on. And for supper tonight, we had chicken soup, which we forgot to put the chicken in. I explained that in yesterday's video. Mark did put some chicken in his bowl. And we had bread. And tonight, a part of a loaf of bread. And tonight we'll finish off that loaf of bread with peanut butter before bedtime snack. Just trying to be super real here. Today we ate a kiwi on the side because we had bought it in last week's groceries and we had forgotten to eat it, and I wasn't going to let it go bad because we were doing the challenge. And we found an extra banana that was left from last week, so that will go into the food to be able to use for meals this week. So we will see you tomorrow.